wraparound. Breakaway.
Only great goal scorers make plays like that.
One-timer.
Here.
Timer, score!
Sportsnet, here for hockey.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to the show. We are here at Saugeen Bluffs Conservation Area, where we're doing a two-part segment. First, we are meeting with Jim Lusk, who is the superintendent here at Saugeen Bluffs, and then we're going to be talking to Sandra Howe and doing some kayaking on the Saugeen River. But first, the campground. It's a fabulous campground you have here. When did Saugeen Valley purchase it?
The land was purchased from the Campbell family originally in 1973. And then in 1975, more land was purchased adjacent to the original purchase from the Beach family. Both families were prominent in the area.
It looks large. Like, how many campsites do we have here?
There's 181 campsites. 102 have full service with electric and water. There are 36 equestrian campsites and 45 unserviced campsites.
Unserviced. A lot of people still like that unserviced campground part of it. I know I was one of those that back in my younger years, I don't know, there was just something about tent camping. Now, the Saugeen River runs through this campground, and that makes it very unique.
Very much so. We have 25 sites that actually are on the river. The sites have access to the river from the site. There are 7 sites that are actually on the river's edge, essentially, that are paddle-in sites. You can drive in and camp on them as well, but they're great for people who like to paddle the river and paddle in and paddle back out if they're doing a paddling adventure holiday on the river.
Which makes that very unique.
It is a very unique campground, yes.
Now, if people were interested in camping here, how, I know with the provincial sites, there's only certain times you can book campsites. How can people book here with the Saugeen Bluffs?
So at the Saugeen Bluffs, you can call and book a site at our campground. You can book online on our website. It has a portal where you can book campsites. Campsite bookings online begin in February of every year.
Oh, okay.
The campground opens generally the last weekend in April. It can vary, and closes on Thanksgiving of every year.
Wow, that's very easy and very, very doable. So kind of you can't book the following year, you have to wait until February before you would book here. Now, are you guys usually full? Are you have a no vacancy sign you hang out front?
We do have a no vacancy sign. We generally don't end up completely full. That would require a lot of sites. I think it's happened a few times in the past. It's happened once since I've been here. And we, with this number of sites, plus the equestrian campground, have the equestrian campground full and the main campground full it would be a very busy weekend, and they are when they're full.
Yeah, it would be.
But we do often get the main campground full and much of the equestrian. Most weekends we are at 80% capacity.
Wow. Yeah, very good. And there's a wonderful playground just behind us. Is this the main kind of central area for the camp?
Yes, this is our main campground here. This is the playground area. We have a couple of pavilions. One is behind you here, and a store, a laundromat. We have an activity center. It's called the Sutherland Center. It's named for Robert Sutherland. He and his family were great contributors to the Saugeen Bluffs. In the early years when we were just getting this place started, they were integral in getting the Saugeen Bluffs to where you see it today. So
nice.
the activity center bears its name.
Very nice. And I love the location of this place, and that's kind of what drew us here today, is because it's on the Saugeen River. You're just how many minutes from Paisley?
We are
10,
four
maybe?
minutes from Paisley, driving.
Okay.
We are 4 minutes from Paisley. It's 7 kilometers on the river, about an hour and a half paddle. We're 15 minutes from Port Elgin and the Lake Huron shoreline. Another 15 to Southampton. For example, if you're going doing a paddling holiday and you're going to go all the way to the mouth of the lake on the river, it's a 15-minute drive. The paddle would be, forgive me, I'm thinking it's 12 hours, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I have had a quick peek at the map before, just because we're going to be talking to Sandra shortly. It looks as if it could take days, but I'm going to check in with Sandra on that.
Sandra will definitely know.
Yeah, she will. But getting back to the campground, there's seasonal here as well. How long do people usually stay here when they're a seasonal camper?
Most seasonals will arrive in April, and essentially stay until Thanksgiving. They'll come. Everyone is different. Many are here every weekend. Some are here for a large portion of the summer, ongoing. So they'll stay for months at a time. And others where it'll be 5 or 6 weekends through the summer, or maybe just 2 weeks. This is their 2 or 3 week holiday vacation. They'll come here.
Very interesting.
So it varies with.
Very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the horse camp. Is that kind of the next spot we're going to go?
Yes, that's where we will head to next. And we have seasonal campers in the horse campground as well.
Oh, interesting.
That stay for the entire season.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing that. We're going to head there next. Jim has brought us up here to the top portion. We're a fair piece from the river now, but we're still at Saugeen Bluffs Conservation Area. And this is the unique part that makes Saugeen Bluffs kind of a buzzword now with horse people.
Yes, we are one of the very few campgrounds in Ontario that have an equestrian campground with on-site trails. We have a total of just under 15 kilometers of on-site trails that can be accessed by our equestrian campers that are camping here.
I was intrigued coming in. You've got paddocks set up, so at night each horse can be in their own separate paddock, so there's no fighting or discontent, I guess, with the horses. Does everyone have to bring their own hay and all that stuff when they come in here?
Yes, they do. So each equestrian camper is expected to bring all of their own equipment and hay, things like that. Water is generally at each site. Not all the sites have corrals on them or paddocks. There are some without. Equestrians do highline their horses, so they're able to keep their horses on the site and secure without actually having a corral or a paddock for them. You would have seen when coming in, there was a horse that was actually is kept out of a paddock and still secure.
Yeah, it had quite a large area that it could be in.
We also have 3 bunkies on site. You can see one in the background here. Each of the bunkies have 2 corrals on them, and we have 14 other sites that have 2 corrals on each site.
And that's a fabulous idea, having the bunkies, because I can't imagine the amount of work that if you're going to pull a trailer and then you need another vehicle to pull a horse trailer, where here you can rent a bunkie and just bring your horse trailer and you're all set, ready to go. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and it's easy for everyone to do. Like you said, you're not bringing near as many things.
Right.
go
Now,
camping.
you mentioned that there's a 15-kilometer trail. Is that a multi-use, or is that specifically just for the horses?
It is multi-use, hikers, walkers, and equestrians only. There's no motorized vehicles on our trails.
Right.
Bicycles are welcome, but it's not overly bicycle friendly. So it's basically hikers and equestrians that make the most use of the trails.
Wow, this is just amazing up here because they have their own section. So in the center here, they can meet at night and have a chat. I would imagine this would be booked almost every weekend. It would be a very busy spot.
Yes, it is a very busy spot on weekends, for
Yeah.
sure. And then we're in the middle of the week here, and it is, fairly active right here now.
Yeah, and of course the heat is, it's a toasty day
It's
today.
a warm day.
It is a very warm day. So, and yeah, I'm amazed that there are campers here and horses, and they're allowed to go down to the river to cool off, or how do they handle
generally,
that?
The equestrians are not permitted to go into the river unless they require water for their horses.
Right.
But we try to keep the horses out of the river for the most part. We just for the safety of the river and everything that's in the river. That we want to make sure everyone is safe.
Yeah.
And everything, the ecological impact of horses in a waterway or not, we try to avoid that.
Yeah, definitely. And I love how you're handling your manure management. You've got if you've got pets, you've got manure, and
That's right.
It's a conversation that we have to have. But yeah, everyone is cleaning up after their horses,
That's correct.
their pets, and there's a spot for it. So you guys have looked after everything up here. So very nice. Well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
Now, I think I would like to go down to the river, though, to kind of where it's a little bit cooler, and there's a couple other things that we need to touch base on. So we'll head down to the river next. Jim has brought us down here to the river, much cooler than where we were up on the top bluff there. Down here is beautiful. The campsites are massive for popping up a tent and having a car. Like, they're extra large than other sites that I've seen. How large, like, property holding is the camp? Like, how many acres is it?
The conservation area itself is a little over 200 acres. The sites all vary as far as size. You can see they're all very well treed with mature trees.
Yeah.
The campground's been here since 1973, so it's a very mature treed campground.
It's gorgeous down here, and the birds are singing, the leaves are, yeah, it's just absolutely amazing, and with the river just behind us. Now, one thing we didn't touch on, if I wanted to come here and go camping, or even have a family reunion here, are there rentals here?
Yes, you can rent our activity center. You can rent the pavilions, either the one up above or the one that's in our main campground.
Okay.
We do rent canoes, things like that. And we have 2 large group camping areas that can be rented. They can be done both by calling our phone number 519-353-7206, or done online through our online booking portal on our website, the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority website. Will direct you to our camping reservation system for the Saugeen Bluffs.
Wow, no, this is just, I didn't realize there was this much stuff here. I've flown down the road going to Paisley numerous times and just never really thought having an event here would be fabulous, especially when you've got group camping. I didn't know that either. So it's been a real eye-opener for me. So thank you very much for spending time with us. We are going to meet up with Sandra Howe next and look after and get a peek at the Saugeen River.
My Uncle Cheney was one of over 150,000 Indigenous children that were taken to residential schools between the 1800s and 1996. My uncle ran away from school wanting to get home to his mom and dad, and sadly he didn't make it and died of exposure. When Gord Downey found out about my late Uncle Cheney's story, he wrote Secret Path, a series of poems that became an album, then a graphic novel, a documentary, and a concert. Gord met my family, and together we formed the Gord, Downey, and Cheney Winjack Fund. Together we are sharing Secret Path and other reconciliation resources with legacy schools, setting up legacy spaces across Canada, and hosting events like Secret Path Week to inspire all Canadians to engage in reconciliation. Before he left us, Gord asked us all to do something.
You're gonna figure it out.
Will you join us? Together we can make Canada a better place.
Hi, I'm David Sherman, Ghost of Politically Speaking. Join me in 2024 for my next Politically Speaking with the Mayor of the town of Blue Mountains. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Thank you for joining us. We are back from break, and we are now meeting Sandra Howe, who is a recreational kayaker, and she's going to be my best friend today on the Saugeen River. She has paddled the river quite a bit, and there's quite a bit to know about the river, and that's why Sandra is here with us today. So welcome, and thank you for joining us. This scares me. It's a pretty big, daunting river. About how long is it in total?
So the section that people mostly paddle is 102 kilometers. It's one of the longest navigable rivers in southwestern Ontario, and it's a great paddling river for any level of people, really. The upper end here in Hanover through to Walkerton is a little more challenging. Now, there's some portages in there, some swifts. The river's, it's high up. It's a baby at that point. It's high up near the top of its watershed.
Right.
So it's moving faster. It's doing a little more interesting stuff. And there are some portages around the dams here. So a dam in Hanover, a dam at Maple Hill, a dam at Walkerton. So for beginner to intermediate level paddlers, you want to start somewhere further down. So lobbies through to concession 8 is one of my favorite sections.
And they're all numbered.
They're all numbered.
That's a good thing, because I noticed when we were coming here to Saugeen Bluffs, there are road signs that say number whatever, right? So, and that's all coordinated with all the mapping and the brochures.
Yeah, the counties, the municipalities work really well together on that. So 3 is in Hanover, 4 is out by Maple Hill Dam. For beginner level paddlers, probably better to come below Road 6, below Access 6. So they call them Saugeen River accesses of the various numbers. From Walkerton through to Access 5 at Walkerton through to Access 6 at Concession 8 is quite a long stretch. It's a good 3 hours and has some really high, beautiful clay bluffs. So once you've had a little time on the river, this is actually my favorite section.
And that's like a beginner,
probably
intermediate?
An intermediate level paddle, this one. So for something easier, you want to start above Access 6. So going in at Access 6, Access 7. I think maybe Jim talked with you about McBeath Conservation Area, which is our remote campsite.
So how does that work? You can just camp there?
Yep. Yeah, it's set up as an overnight camping spot. It's only accessible from the river, so you paddle in with your gear, you spend the night. There's washroom facilities, fire pits, picnic tables, and a lovely little swimming hole. I always enjoy the swim there.
So do people, if they were thinking on doing a trip, then would they still have to phone the Saugeen Bluffs to book that campsite?
There's no reservations on that system. However many people land there. There are donation bins that you put your fee into there, and the Conservation Authority hopes that people do that because that helps maintain the park.
Right.
Jim and his crew from here at Saugeen Bluffs are responsible for going in and looking after that site.
Right.
So the donations there really make a difference to the operation of the parks.
And that's everything in, everything out as well, right?
Absolutely,
Like
yes.
there's no
Absolutely.
garbage. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah, so that's the remote campsite at McBeath, and then you're into Paisley. And Paisley right down to Denny's Dam is great choice for beginners. Sections between access points are a couple of hours, which is a nice paddle. Today we're going to do the Bluffs to Road 40, so access 11. We are here.
Right.
And we're going to go on down to access 12 at County Road 40. As we said, the municipalities and the county maintain really good parking lots and access to the river in and out at that point. So if you're wanting to do a day's paddle, it's useful to have two vehicles. You leave, we call it shuttling or staging. So you leave a vehicle at the point where you want to finish your trip. Right. And then you come up to your start point and paddle down, and then you've got wheels to come back up. So we've left a vehicle already this morning at our exit point down here at access 12 on Road 40. Okay. And we're going to go from the Bluffs down to that point. These maps are at all of the access locations, and they give really good info about things you need to know on the river.
Right.
So what you can expect to see, whether it's, these are all pretty much beginner sections. Season does make a difference though. In the spring, the river is high and fast and dangerous, so you want to stay off the river unless you're an experienced paddler when it's running high and fast. If we've had heavy rains, you want to stay off the river as well, because there can be logs coming down and more hazards and stuff. So choose your timing carefully. An incredibly good source of advice and also shuttles and rental services is Thorncrest Outfitters. They're in Port Elgin now instead of Southampton. Okay. But they're still there doing their thing.
And they offer shuttle service.
They do.
If you were just trying to do this on your own, you could ask and pay for service type thing.
Yeah, so they're a great source of information. They're also a great source of rentals and equipment.
Okay, very good. And can they do this in one day? No. So do your research is the big thing. Yeah, definitely do your research.
Do your research. Make sure you've got your safety gear. Make sure you're wearing your life jacket, your PFD. You've got your sunscreen, your hat, your water, all those things you need to know, and check the river conditions so you know you're safe and having fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to getting on the river. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. First time out this year, so you're going to have to pardon my splashing, Sandra.
Yeah, we'll be all right. It's a hot day, so a little splashing will feel good.
So are these one of the shoals that you talked about?
These are one of the shoals, and sometimes when the water levels are higher, that will all be covered and you can paddle right over it. If there's a little more water, you can get over it but get hung up, so you have to sort of watch out for those things.
So left or right, or you just kind of read the river as you come?
Yeah, you just kind of read the river as you come. Wherever the main flow of the river goes is probably where the most water is, so that's the thing to look for. If we're coming into the little swifts, you'll often see a sort of V in the water, and aim for the center of the long point of the V tends to take you through a good route, and you just watch for the stones as well.
Like look at here, that's coming up, the ripples. Oh, I see what you mean, it's a rock.
It's a rock.
Oops. I need a bit of practice.
Now you'll get it.
The trees that have come down the bluffs, that's through spring runoff?
Yeah, there's a lot of erosion works on these banks, so you can see along this slope stuff that's come down, There's new stuff trying to get rooted, and we really like to see those new trees settling in because they'll help stabilize those banks.
Right.
But these are natural river processes that go on all the time.
Now we just went past, you were noting that there was stairs, the property line for the bluffs. We've just passed that for the campground.
We've just finished coming through the campground area, but the property continues actually almost all the way to Road 40.
Oh, really?
So alongside us on this right-hand bank is going to be Saugeen Bluffs Conservation Area most of the way down.
Okay, okay. And then there was a lookout as well that is kind of at the top of the bluffs?
Yep, from the campground you follow the trail and up the stairs to the bluffs on the very top. Gives you a beautiful lookout down to the river here and across to the hills on the far side. It's one of my favorite places to go walking, and it's so different every single season. You can go up in the winter, you can go up in the spring, you can go up in the summer. In the fall, the colors are spectacular.
Oh, they would be, yeah.
So that's part of the trail system that goes all through Saugeen Bluffs here.
Beautiful. And a lot of wildlife?
Yes.
A lot of blue heron.
Along the river, we most often see a variety of ducks, lots of Canada geese, lots of gulls come in to fish on the river. See plenty of blue heron, and one of my favorites is the belted kingfisher. Oh, yes. And we're likely to hear and see them as well.
Right. And there are fish in this river.
There are lots of fish in this river. I'm not a fisherman, so I'm not real good at the species. Lots of bass. There'll be some trout. I've seen pike and muskie as well, I think.
Nice. It's just an amazing river. There's not a whole lot of effort to this adventure other than reading the river. I see that there's more ripples coming up, so more rocks, more shallow area.
Yeah, we call these swifts. They're not quite big enough to be rapids.
I'm not swift enough to get over these. That's the problem.
No, I think you can do it. So if you look down the river here right now, you can see this sort of V point.
Yes.
And that's the sort of point we're going to aim for, and just keep an eye for rocks.
Keep an eye.
Keep an eye for rocks. See and that? Try not to go broadside against them.
Pay attention to what you're doing. No bumper cars allowed, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh, rock. Rock.
So far this channel is good if you follow me.
Wow. This is, yeah. You see these swifts? Oh, huge rock. Rock. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Ah, just like that. Ay, ay, ay. To the left. I hit a rock.
If you only hit one, you did good.
It's been a very interesting trip on the river. Not a whole lot of wildlife, but as you were saying, midday, hot. but we're dressed for the weather. Thank goodness.
We're good.
Yes.
We're good.
So this short little piece that we did took us about an hour.
Yeah, probably a little less than that, because the current on the river is still moving fairly good. There's some really nice little swifts in this section, so it's been fun.
It's been fun, and it's a very doable. So if you're looking for a nice beginner section like me, this is a great spot to do it, and just plan your ride accordingly. Make sure that you've got your shuttle set up so that you've got someone here, or as you had mentioned, reach out to Thorncrest Outfitters that can do a drop off and pick up later.
Yeah, make sure your shuttle's in place and you've got your food and your water and your sunscreen and your hat and all that important stuff, and get out on the river and have a great time. It's a wonderful river to explore.
It is, it is. And thank you again, Sandra. It's been a wonderful day. A few rocks, I've left my mark, I think, on the river in a few spots, but that's all right. We thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Wandering Grey Bruce.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.